They were called titans, enormous, hollow things that walked on two legs and ate people for reasons no one ever understood. Not for hunger, not for survival, simply because they could. Humanity did what it always does when faced with something it cannot defeat. It built walls. The wall is immense, ancient stone rising impossibly high, blocking out half the sky. At its base, a small town hums with ordinary life. Markets, children, laundry drying on lines. Iren Jager 17, restless eyes, jaw set like he's always arguing with someone, stands at the boundary fence with his two closest friends, Armin slight, bookish, carrying a worn map, and Mikasa, quiet, watchful, the kind of person who notices everything. E-R-E-R-E. 100 years. You realize that? 100 years, and not one Titan sighting. They're gone. They have to be gone. Armin, or they're waiting. Iren already walking toward the wall. You and you're waiting. Mikasa, Iren. The patrols. Iren haven't seen a Titan either. Nobody has. Come on. They approach the wall. Up close, it is overwhelming, smooth, featureless, almost alive in its scale. Even Eren slows down. Armin, looking up, genuine awe. It's different when you're standing next to it. Mikasa. It's the same wall it's always been. Iren numb. From a distance, it looks like protection. Up close, it looks like a cage. Before anyone can respond, boots on gravel. The border patrol surrounds them, hands on weapons. Patrol. Captain, step away from the perimeter. All three of you. Iren, we're just looking. Patrol. Captain, step away, or I'm taking you in. That's a public execution offense, boy. Eren's expression shifts. The specific look of someone who knows they're wrong and doesn't care. He steps toward the patrol captain. Mikasa Eren, don't. Captain Shota, 40s, tired eyes, the weight of someone who used to believe in things, steps forward from the back of the patrol formation. Shota, stand down. To his men, all of you. Give us a moment. The soldiers exchange glances but obey. Shota waits until they're out of earshot, then turns to Eren with an expression that is not anger, something closer to recognition. Shota, you know what happens to soldiers who break protocol? I don't mean execution. I mean what it does to the people standing next to them. Eren, I wasn't putting anyone in danger. The Titans, Shota, are not your only problem. The government has scouts outside the wall right now. A formal inspection. If you want to see beyond the wall, that's how it gets done. Officially, carefully, with people who know what they're doing. Beat. Your death doesn't free anyone, Eren. It just removes you from the equation. Eren wants to argue. Mikasa watches him not argue. It's clearly an effort. Then, a sound. Low at first. A vibration more than a noise. The ground answers it, a tremor moving up through their feet, their legs, their chests. Everyone goes still. The wall moves. Not structurally, something on the other side is hitting it. Once, twice. The stone groans. Cracks spider across the surface. The patrol soldiers stumble backward, reaching for weapons they know won't help. Then a hole, and through the hole, light. And then a shape against the light, something enormous. Something that should not exist. The colossal titan rises above the wall's edge, taller than the wall itself, steam pouring off its exposed muscles, a face that is wrong in ways that take a moment to process. It opens its mouth, and the sound it makes is not a roar. It is something older than language. It kicks. The wall comes down. Chaos. The kind that moves too fast to photograph. People running in all directions, soldiers firing cannons at things the cannonballs bounce off of, Titans walking through the smoke with the unhurried pace of things that have nowhere to be. Armin is swallowed by the crowd. Eren and Mikasa run together toward the church, the designated refuge point. When Mikasa sees it, a child, maybe 4 years old, sitting in the street, frozen with the specific stillness of a person whose mind has simply stopped processing. Mikasa, already changing direction. Eren, Mikasa, we can't. But she's already moving. She scoops the child up, and the crowd closes between them like water. Eren reaches back. His hand finds nothing. He is carried forward by the crush of people into the church. The doors boom shut behind him. He presses to the window. Outside, Mikasa, standing still while the crowd parts around her. The child, safe, passed off to a woman who might be its mother. Mikasa turning, and behind her, a titan. Female in silhouette, moving with a terrible, deliberate grace. Mikasa sees it, turns to face it, and in a moment that Eren will spend years trying to understand, she doesn't run. She stands straight. She closes her eyes. EREN beating on the church window, no sound getting through. Mikasa. An explosion. Concussive force throws everyone in the church backward. When Eren scrambles to the window again, the street is empty. The Titan is gone. Mikasa is gone. The child is gone. Eren runs outside into a city that is already ruins. He searches for a long time. He finds nothing. Eren, in the smoke, alone, very quiet. I'll kill them. Every last one. I'll kill them all. No one hears him. It doesn't matter. He means it anyway. Commander Isuryu, career military, skeptical of everything, sits at the head of a table covered in diagrams, proposals, failed weapons schematics. He's seen 100 researchers today. He'll forget most of them by morning. The last presenter is Hang Zoe, who refuses to present. She stands at the front of the room and systematically dismantles everyone else's ideas instead. After the meeting, Isuru follows her. He shouldn't. He knows he shouldn't. He does it anyway. Hang is fast. She has him disarmed and pressed against a wall with something sharp at his throat before he gets 3 steps inside the door. Hang excellent instincts. Walking alone into the secret facility of someone you just watched, reject every conventional idea in the building. Isuryu, I wanted to see what you were working on. Hang, considering. You could have just asked. She releases him, but this is more interesting. Come on. She leads him deeper into the base. The smell hits first. Something biological, something wrong. Then the sound, low rhythmic breathing, enormous. They round a corner and Isuru stops walking. Chained to the far wall of a reinforced chamber, a titan, smaller than the ones from the attack, but unmistakably the same species. It strains toward them with the single-minded focus of a thing that has only one drive. Then it sees Hanye, and it calms. Isuryu, you've been keeping that. Hange, I've been studying it. There's a difference. Isuryu, you've been keeping our greatest enemy in a research base underneath our military headquarters. Hang gesturing at her notes, the neck. Look, every other wound I've inflicted heals within minutes. I've documented the regeneration rate. It's remarkable, frankly, but damage to the nape of the neck is different. It doesn't heal. And if the damage is severe enough? She draws a finger across her throat. Isuryu, you've confirmed this. A pause. Hang, I'm in the process of confirming it. Before Isuru can respond, boots in the corridor. A superior officer's voice barking evacuation orders. Titans at the perimeter, all personnel out immediately. Everything happens quickly after that. Hange moves toward the Titan's chain. The superior officer declares her insane. Isuru watches, not quite intervening, as Hange does something unexpected. She reaches through the bars and puts her hand on the creature's arm. The Titan stops pulling at its chains. It looks at her. Something passes between them that Isuru doesn't have words for. Then it breaks free. Its hand closes around Hange, gently, which is the most disturbing part, and Isuru has his blade out and is climbing before the thought fully forms. He moves up the Titan's back, finds the nape, and drives the blade home. The Titan collapses. Hange stands in the wreckage of her chamber. She doesn't look at Isuru. She looks at the creature she spent months studying, now evaporating into the floor. Hang, very quietly, I almost had it. She picks up her notebooks. She doesn't speak again for a long time. Months later, Hang stands on a platform before the assembled military leadership, holding a device that looks like it was designed by someone who genuinely doesn't care about aesthetics. All function, all mechanism, launching hooks and compressed gas and wire. Hang. The Titan's weakness is the nape. The nape is, by design, the hardest point to reach on foot. You would need to approach from above and behind a creature that is, at minimum, 4 times your height. She fires a hook into the ceiling. The wire goes taut. She launches herself across the room. 2 officers dive out of the way. Hange landing, slightly breathless, so you approach from above, from any direction. You take away the ground as the battlefield, and you replace it with everywhere. Silence from the leadership. Then, senior officer that looks extremely dangerous. Hangs everything that works against Titans is dangerous. The question is whether it works. It takes months of bureaucracy. Isuru arguing her case in rooms she isn't allowed to enter. Eventually, reluctantly, the authorization comes through. Hong adds a note to her research journal. We have a weapon. Now we need soldiers who are angry enough to learn it. The trucks move through darkness toward the outer district. No lights. Engine noise kept to a minimum. Aaron sits in the back of a truck, older now, harder in the face. Armin beside him, still carrying that worn map. They both survived. Neither of them talks about how. Armin low. When we find a way through, what do you actually expect to find? N answers. Armin, that's not really an answer. Iren, I know. Captain H, now commanding the weapons division, walks the length of the convoy, checking equipment. She stops at their truck. CAPTN. H, keep the noise down. Titans sleep, but they're sensitive to sound. We move in, secure the breach point, plant the explosive, seal the wall. Clean operation. E-Ren. And if they're not all sleeping? H, already moving on. Then we find out if my gear works under pressure. The convoy stops. Ahead in the dark, movement. Too slow for people, too small for Titans. Cows, wandering the abandoned streets, stepping through rubble. A collective exhale of relief. Then, a sound. Distinct. Human. Ayanna, practical, warm, someone who laughs easily when things aren't terrible, hears it first. A baby crying. She's moving before anyone can stop her. Iren following because of course he does. Hyanna, wait. They move through collapsed hallways, following the sound. It gets louder. Then, from above, something falls. Viscous. Warm. They both look up slowly. A Titan. Small by their standards, which still means enormous by any other measure. And in its hands, a human being it is methodically eating. The Titan's enormous infant eyes find them. It drops. Aaron and Hyanna run. Chaos again, but smaller this time. Personal scale chaos, the kind where you can see everyone's faces. The Titans are awake. The soldiers are surrounded. Commander Kublo calculates the odds and makes the kind of decision commanders make, retreating with the vehicles and the weapons, leaving the others to find their own way to the abandoned building on the north side. They run. Most of them make it. Then, a sound of cable and air, and Shikishima arrives, leader of the scout regiment, moving through the air with his maneuvering gear the way other people walk. He kills 3 Titans before he lands, his partner moving just as fluidly, just as lethally. Aaron stops. He knows that silhouette. He knows the way she moves. He'd know it anywhere. Eren Mikasa. Mikasa, now 19, battle-trained, carrying herself like someone who made a decision years ago about what she would and wouldn't allow herself to feel, doesn't look at him. She looks at Shikishima, who smiles at her. They move together like a unit that has been calibrated. They head for the building. Aaron follows, something complicated happening behind his eyes. The survivors take stock. Casualties, ammunition, options. In a corner, Aaron finds Mikasa sitting at a broken piano, pressing keys that no longer connect to strings. Eren, you're alive. Mikasa, not looking up. 2 years, Eren. Eren, I looked for you. After the fall, Mikasa, I know you did. Beat, I wasn't in a place you could reach. She pulls back her sleeve. The bite mark is old now, silvered over into a scar, but the shape is unmistakable. Eren, Mikasa. Mikasa, she died. The baby I was protecting. I couldn't. She stops. I became someone who doesn't lose people anymore. That's who I am now. The door opens. Shikishima, carrying an apple, which he presents to Mikasa with a deliberateness that is clearly meant to be observed. She takes it. Doesn't look at Eren. Eren goes outside. Aaron stands in the dark, looking at the wall in the distance, doing the specific math of all his worst moments. Ayanna appearing beside him. The look on your face is going to get you killed. You can't fight titans when you're thinking about something else. Eren, after a moment, you have a daughter. Ayanna, back in the inner district. She's 4. She sits. She thinks I'm a hero, which is terrifying because it means she doesn't understand anything yet, and also because it means I have to actually be one. They sit in the dark, talking quietly, the kind of conversation that happens when people don't know if they'll have another chance for conversation. Then a shadow at the window. An enormous eye. No time for anything. No time for last words. The Titan's hand is simply there, and then Ayanna is not. Eren stands at the window where she was, staring at his own hands. He picks up the maneuvering gear. The fight on the building is chaotic. Soldiers on all sides, Titans below, the sound of the maneuvering gear cutting through the air. Eren launches himself for the first time and is immediately terrible at it. Spinning wrong, losing his line, nearly colliding with a wall. Shikishima watches without helping until the moment where not helping would mean watching him die. Shikishima, passing close. Stop thinking about the target. Think about where you want to be. Eren tries again. This time, something clicks. The first Titan falls. Eren doesn't celebrate. He's already moving toward the next one, and then a cable snaps and the momentum he can't control sends him directly into an open mouth. The Titan bites through his leg. Eren falls. Below, Armin is running, and a Titan has him, and there is simply nothing Eren can do. His leg is gone below the knee. He is lying on a rooftop looking at the sky. He gets up anyway. He crawls to the edge. He looks at the Titan that has Armin. He looks at his own ruined body. He jumps. He goes into the Titan's mouth. He pushes it open from the inside. Armin falls free. Eren falls inward. The last thing he sees, looking up through the Titan's throat, is light. EXT. Aro of top. Shortly after Armin tells Mikasa. Mikasa's face does something she clearly didn't give it permission to do. She kills everything she can find, moving through Titans with the focused fury of someone who has decided grief is a thing that happens after. Her fuel runs out midair, and she falls to the street below, and a Titan stands over her, and the Titan beside her explodes. From inside it, a hand, then an arm, then a figure that is a Titan, and also, somehow, is not. The Berserker Titan, Eren, transformed, regenerated, new, fights the way only someone with nothing to lose fights. It works. Titan after Titan falls. Then it turns toward the building. Mikasa stands in its path. Mikasa, not backing up. Eren. The Titan stops. Looks at her. Something behind its eyes, something human, struggling upward through whatever this thing is. It falls. It evaporates. And in the space where the Titan was, Eren, whole. His leg back. Unconscious, but breathing. A flashback, rapid and fragmentary. A boy, young, watching his father administer an injection. His father's face, intent and terrified and certain all at once. A serum. A secret kept by Captain Shota. Government soldiers at the door. The laboratory burning. Shota carrying the boy away through the smoke while behind them, Eren's parents. Gone. Ruined building Gastic LA. Later Eren wakes up bound, weapons aimed at him. Commander Kublo standing over him with the expression of a man who has already made up his mind. Kublo, what you are is a threat to everything these walls protect. Every person alive made a sacrifice to live here safely. You can't be allowed to undermine that. Eren. I'm human, Kyublo. What just came out of that Titan was human-shaped. That's not the same thing. Armin stepping forward. He saved us. Every soldier alive in this building is alive because of him. And there's a missile near the outer district. If Eren can get us there, we can seal the wall. No more Titans. No more attacks. We can end this. Kyublo turning to Armin with the particular coldness of someone changing targets. Or, you're the person who destroyed our explosives during the last mission, conveniently positioning this creature as our only option. Armin opens his mouth. closes it. CA abtain, H cutting in, I want to study him. Everyone, H he transformed and maintained consciousness. Do you understand how significant that is? He's not just a weapon, he's a research subject. Kill him and we lose. Shota, from the back of the room, stop. Everyone turns. Shota, thin, clearly unwell, clearly having used the last of something to be standing here, pushes through to the front. Shota, the boy can control it. He can transform and come back. His father's serum worked. I was there. I helped hide it. He is not what you're afraid of. He is the only answer to what you're afraid of, if you're willing to. A gunshot. Shota goes down. In the chaos that follows, a titan crashes through the ceiling. Not the colossal kind. Armored, moving with intelligence. Deflecting attacks with its hands, looking for something specific. Looking for Eren, it finds him. Picks him up. Looks at Mikasa in a way that seems like recognition, and then doesn't kill her. Turns, climbs, takes Eren out through the roof into the dark. INT, underground government, facility, unknown location, white walls, old music from a record player that predates everything Eren knows. Shikishima sits across from him, and his face is different here. Not performative, just tired. Shikishima, 100 years ago, we made them. Government scientists working on super soldier programs. The Titans weren't an invasion from outside. They were an experiment that went wrong in every direction at once. The virus spread. People transformed at random. Civilization ate itself. He slides photographs across the table. A small group survived without transforming. They built the walls, created a government, and eventually decided the best way to keep people compliant was to make sure they never knew any of this. Beat. The attack 2 years ago wasn't random. The government commissioned it. Fear is the most efficient social technology ever developed. Eren, looking at the photographs, why are you telling me this? Sick Ishtima. Because you can transform and come back. That's never happened before. That means you're something the government didn't plan for. Standing, I want to use that. Come with me. He leads Eren out to his followers, soldiers, researchers, people who know what Shikishima knows and have decided to do something about it. And in the center of the room, stockpiled explosives. Weapons. A plan. Shikishima, we destroy the inner walls. Titan incursion reaches the government district. The tyranny ends permanently. Anne and the people living there, silence. EREN. There are hundreds of thousands of people living in the inner district. Families. Children. If the Titans, Shikishima, the first real edge in his voice, they chose this system, they benefit from it. Every refugee who starved in the outer district while the inner city ate, that's the bill coming due. Eren looks at him for a long time. Eren number. What follows is less a fight than a reckoning. Eren charges Shikishima without the maneuvering gear, without a transformation, just with whatever is left of the fury that has been powering him since he was 15. Shikishima, a better fighter, a more experienced fighter, a fighter with decades of technique, takes him apart methodically. Armin watches from the perimeter, calculating. Sagi, another soldier, quieter than his actions, braver than his face, watches the unstable building nearby. Shikishima kisses Mikasa, which is not a romantic gesture, but a dominance. 1. Look at what I can take from you. Mikasa slaps him. He kicks her down. Eren, from the ground, makes a sound that is not language. Armin shouts. Sagi starts pulling on the building's structural support. He is shot. He keeps pulling. He is shot again. He keeps pulling. The building comes down on the bomb. The explosion is enormous and personal, and costs them someone they didn't have enough time to know. In the aftermath, Shikishima rises from the rubble. He stands at the edge of the crater holding his own sword. He drives it into his chest. Armin watching the transformation begin. He was the armored titan. He was the one who, he killed Kublo. He took Eren. He's been moving pieces for a long time. The armored titan rises. A sequence of desperate coordination, each member of the team finding their specific impossible task. Sasha, from altitude, puts an explosive arrow through the Titan's eye. Blind it. Jean, cutting in tight to the armored neck, finding the gaps in the plating. Weaken it. Mikasa, moving faster than logic should allow, cutting through the fingers of the hand that reaches for Jean. Protect the approach. Eren, diving in from the blind side, severing the Achilles tendon. Bring it down. The armored Titan falls. Jean moves in for the killing blow. The Titan turns, faster than it should be able to, and the punch that should hit Jean hits Eren instead, throwing him through 3 walls of a ruined building. The armored Titan moves for the missile. Eren, in the rubble, makes the decision. The 2 Titans face each other in the ruins of the Outer District, and the fight is brutal and unequal, and Eren loses it completely for a while. The armored Titan hits harder, heals faster, and has been this thing for longer. Eren is knocked down repeatedly, gets up repeatedly. The pattern is exhausting to watch and impossible to stop. Then, a helicopter blade lying in the wreckage. Eren picks it up. The armored Titan nearly splits in half. Shikishima, reverting to human form in the wreckage, watches Eren scream in victory with something on his face that might be pride. He doesn't say it. He's unconscious before he could. The Berserker Titan carries the missile up the face of the wall. The team follows on maneuvering gear, covering it from below, from the sides. Near the top, Eren's transformation starts failing. Consciousness fraying at the edges, the Titan form becoming unreliable. He nearly drops the missile. He nearly drops himself. Mikasa reaches him first. Mikasa, cutting to his neck, reaching through the Titan material to find him. Eren. Eren. You promised me. Eren barely, what? Mikasa, the ocean. You said you'd take me to see the ocean. A pause that contains everything. The Berserker Titan lifts the missile into position. Armin sets the detonator. 5 minutes. Commander Kublo appears at the top of the wall. Older, injured, the specific look of a man who survived things he shouldn't have and attributes it to being right about everything. Kublo, leave the wall as it is. Hand over the boy. You'll be compensated? Positions, resources, safety for your families. Sasha, already knocking an arrow, number Kublo is hit several times. He falls behind the wall and begins to transform. The colossal Titan, the one that broke the wall 2 years ago, the one that started everything, stands above them, emitting heat like a furnace, reaching for the missile. Jean goes at it and is killed in a single blow. The colossal Titan reaches the bomb and damages the detonator. The timer reaches 0. Silence. Mikasa is on her knees at the mechanism, pulling it apart with her hands, trying to find the break, unable to find the break. Shikishima appears behind her. He looks at the bomb. At the Titan. At the Titan still trying to reach the bomb despite being on fire. At Mikasa's hands. Shikishima quietly, you can't fix it that way. He picks up the missile. You were right earlier, there was another option. He looks up at the colossal Titan. Shikishima, not to anyone in particular, I wanted to free you. Wrong method. He climbs. The explosion, when it comes, takes the top of the wall with it. A chain reaction. Concrete falling. The hole in the wall, sealed, finally, at last, after 2 years. But the collapse. Eren is falling. Mikasa catches him. Refuses to let go. The rubble falls around them, and she is simply not willing to let this be how it ends. They land. They breathe. They climb to the top of what remains. The sun is going down over the Outer District, and past the Outer District, past the ruins, past the fields that used to be farmland, the ocean. It catches the last light and throws it back, and it is more than either of them imagined, and different, and real. Mikasa stands next to Eren, and for the first time in 2 years, neither of them is bracing for what comes next. Eren, it's real. Mikasa, something that might be a smile, you sound surprised. Eren. I believed in it for so long, I forgot it was actually a thing. He looks at her. She looks at the ocean. There is a promise kept in this moment, unspoken, that matters more than anything said aloud. Behind them, cameras. Mounted in the wall, watching. A robotic voice, emotionless, system subjects. Geiger and Ackerman confirmed at outer wall perimeter. Continued monitoring authorized. Long-term utility assessment ongoing. The camera adjusts its focus. The two of them, unaware, keep looking at the ocean. The water is endless, and it doesn't know there are walls.